everyone to the big realty debate, the debate on breakdown of trust amongst buyers of real estate or homes in the country and the developer. Today we'll bring you face to face with groups of people who are traumatized, fed up and are at their wits' end, fighting to get the home they've paid up 90% of the monies for. But their home is not in sight. A prop equity study shows that execution delays across the country have risen between 2010 and 2013. But the worst hit by execution delays is North India, specifically the National Capital Region. A Google search, a simple one, will show you that there is a buyer forum against several large developers in North India. Why have things become so messy? Why is it that developers are unable to deliver yet allowed to launch new projects? Why have we as buyers come to accept a delay of 12 months to 18 months as a norm rather than an exception? On the show today, we have buyer forums of course, the developers against who we've received several emails over the last 3 years. Unitech, JP, BPTV, names that of course are fairly publicly available in terms of delayed projects. Undoubtedly, they are the worst offenders when it comes to timely delivery, and there are many who actually do follow the timelines. But then a few of these big ones and the issues of trust do get questioned. Some of those will get highlighted by also buyers of DLF, Parsavnath and Orchid, who are also amongst us, with their lawyer Pooja Agarwal. Now, the big question that we have for our expert panel and guests today: how do you fix and repair their trust? Sudip Topal, Advocate, Supreme Court. Our other guest, Dhanendra Kumar, Chairman, Committee on Streamlining Approval Procedures for Real Estate Projects, and also former Chairman of Competition Commission of India. Devashish Roy, CEO of Urban Thirst. Gitambar Anand, CMD ATS Infrastructure Limited, and also President-elect CREDAI. Nishant Singhal, Promoter and Director, Strategy Investors Clinic. And Pankaj Bajaj, MD Eldeco Infrastructure Properties Limited and Executive Committee Member CREDAI. From Mumbai, Gulam Zia, Executive Director, Knight Frank India. We really had to have a panel of guests representing brokers, developers, CREDAI and of course independent watchdogs like ex-CCI members to really tell us what the solution is. Now, you know, I've already talked about the number of delayed projects, but a quick snapshot of what's been happening. Now, if you look at number of delayed projects in terms of the execution track record, this is of course projects offered for possession before June 2014. Now, NCR, if you look at it, we are not taking North India but NCR. So, the projects which had to be delivered were a little over 1,000. Average delay is 27 months. 27 months. So, there's actually the good developers have pulled down the average delay, because if you were to just look at the largest offenders, the delays could have ranged from much higher, maybe 36 to 48 months as well. South region, number of projects are larger because we've taken 3 cities, Chennai, Bangalore and Hyderabad, and number of projects to be delivered were 5,300. Average delay is 15 months. So, there's definitely something which is not working in the National Capital Region. You look at the West region, Mumbai region and Pune, average delay is 17 months. East region, only Kolkata, number of projects not too much, but average delay 17 months. So, 27 months, 15 months. There's a huge gap there. And we have taken some assumptions here in this report. One is that about 100 units should be delivered in 18 months, 100 to 200 unit projects should be delivered in 24 months, 200 to 436 months, 400 to 648 months. And remember, for projects up to 800 units and above, we have actually taken timelines of 4.5 to 5 years. Nothing should take more than 5 years to develop is what we've said. So, I think the first question, and there are a lot of buyers here who are waiting to ask our panel of experts a lot of questions, is what's going on? I mean, I can see those t-shirts there, wish there was a town, and this is a JP story. It has been in news all through last 2 weeks as well. So, let me hear from you. Your project has been delayed, what, 5 years? Is that it?
Yeah, at least 5 years from now. And yet there is no sight that, okay, in the next 1 or 2 years we are going to get it.
It has been delayed by 5 years, or it's 5 years since you've not got your house?
It has been delayed to almost 4.
So when did you book it?
Yes, we have booked it in 2008. And from there on, it's going on and on. Every time we meet, we get a new chocolates.
You get chocolates?
Yeah, we get a new chocolates in terms of a new dates.
All right, you
Go
get new
home,
chocolates.
come back again, fight back, keep paying the EMIs, keep paying the rents and all. And next time you're coming back, we again have a new list of possession dates. So 4-5 years already gone. There is yet no hope that we are going to get it, at least with the same pace of construction, another 4-5 years.
Okay, so delayed 2008 is when you had booked it.
Yes.
I think there's a case of Parsavnath, 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. 10 years.
So basically, it is a very classic case where the project was launched in 2004, and till now, which is 2014, only 30% of the work has been done, and the project should have been completed latest by 2009. And as I picked up from you, that it was only 350 high premium residential flats project. So it is now not one of those 800 flat projects. So it is already 10 years down the line, and the status is, even if they try their best, they cannot complete and give the possession. Even if they start working day and night, they can't complete the project and give possession in next 5 years.
Okay, that's the second story. So let me just read out. I know that all of you are here and you have many other questions. JP, now this is what I would like my panel to consider. A total of 43 projects delayed. It's not 1, 2, 5, 8, 10. It's 43 projects which have been delayed in sectors of Noida and Greater Noida. Average delay of these projects is 25 months. Some projects have been delayed by as much as 50 to 65 months, and I think the team here is representing a project which has been delayed by more than 5 years. 10 new projects launched in the last 2 years in the same region. BPTP, another big NCR developer who has contributed to that average of 27 months, which of course then makes us question NCR developers, and NCR developers ask us, what do you have against NCR developers? We just have these figures to talk about. BPTB, 14 projects delayed in the regions across Faridabad and Gurgaon, 5 projects launched in 2 years, average delay of 20 months, with few projects delayed as much as 35 months to about 3 years. Parsavnath, again a big story, 12 projects delayed. This is New Delhi, Gurgaon, Ghaziabad, Greater Noida, Lucknow, Sonepat and Panipat. Average delay of 49 months. Some have been delayed by 68 months, and now we get to know there's one delayed by 10 years. No new projects launched in the last 2 years. Well, I am so glad to hear that. Aren't you glad to hear that? No new projects launched in the last 2 years. Unitech, of course, we know that the company is going through troubled times. Our question is, why are you launching new projects? 10 projects launched in the last 2 years in Gurgaon, Noida, Bengaluru, Mumbai and Bhopal. 53 projects have already been delayed. So that report card is being showed because I think it's really important for our viewers who are getting the message that please be very careful when you're buying new projects of these developers. But let me come first to Mr. Dhanendra Kumar. Mr. Kumar, I mean, you were in CCI. I think CCI was the first messiah for real estate buyers as such. What do you make of what's going on?
This is most unfortunate, Manisha. Let me first of all tell you that in this activity there are 3 players. One is the developer, obviously. The other is the consumer, who is at the receiving end. The third is also the government, which grants the license. It's important that all the 3 work in unison. What happens first of all, that the builder's agreement, which is also known sometimes as apartment buyer's agreement, this agreement is generally one-sided. For delays by the builder, he would only pay some token amount, 2 rupees, 5 rupees per square feet, while for any delay in payment of installment, he would have to pay 18% penal interest, or the builder would also have the right to cancel it, forfeit a large chunk of it, and so on. The entire agreement is one-sided. There is also a term in the legal parlance, contra proferentum, that if there is a dominant party between the 2 sides entering into a contract, and the dominant party draws a contract, then in such a situation, it would be an inference against the party that he would have drafted it in his own favor and against the other party if there is a situation like this, but I am not going into that. But the entire agreement, if you look into various clauses, when I was chairman of CCI, for example, and subsequently the matter has been examined by the appellate tribunal, which as you know is chaired by a former Supreme Court judge, it has held that that agreement is one-sided, it is unfair, and that is why the CCI quashed it, and they imposed a fine of 630 crores on the builder.
On the dominant player, all right, which
The
is TLF.
problem is this, that unless a builder is held dominant under the Competition Act, no action can be taken against the builder under that act.
Okay, so here, so maybe this is what I want to hear. This was because the Bel Air group of the Forum of Buyers actually came to CCI, right? That's when CCI also started looking at it and saying, okay, there is an abuse of dominant position. What happens? Isn't JP considered to be a dominant player in Noida and
Well,
Greater Noida?
unless-
How do you come to that dominant position
You
abuse?
see, a case is filed in the Competition Commission, and there are various ingredients under Section 4 of the Competition Act, wherein basic premise is that the party concerned or the enterprise should be able to act independently without his competition. Like in this case, they could possibly be the market leader. In fact, one of the factors also was that they declared in their prospectus that we are dominant. At that time, Competition Act was not so much known.
Okay.
So now people are being careful in the public
They
issue
don't
and
write
so
in
on.
their prospectus saying that they are dominant. All right,
Dominant,
okay. But I think a larger question is, Gitambar and representing CREDAI, the one thing that I've heard from developers is we can't do anything about the delays. We are getting approvals late, and that's what's leading to delays. It could be maybe 6 months or 12 months, but these kind of delays cannot be because of approval delays, isn't it?
See, I'll just take forward what Mr. Kumar said. He very rightly put it that there are 3 stakeholders. I'd say there are 4. Even the financial institutions is the 4th one. The developer, the buyer, the approving authority, and also the financing authority. So yes, approval delays, you say they couldn't cause such a delay, but yes, in certain cases it does happen. Maybe not so much over here, but in Bombay you have to take, Maharashtra you have to take a plinth certificate. Every slab you have to take an NOC from the government. So that could be late in coming. Like in Noida, there's the sudden unexpected NGT issue. That could be another issue. What has happened is, nobody would willfully like to delay a project. Let me tell you this, because most of these guys are here in it for the long haul. There are 3 main reasons for delay. The first is, I would say, a lack of proper planning by the developer, because he gives the wrong timeline. He says, no, because the market is so competitive, if I don't write, I'll deliver in 3 years, I won't sell. So let me write 2 years. Overcommitting.
Okay.
Write 5 years. Second is financial mismanagement. There are people who basically don't manage the finances properly, and another drawback in our industry is that we have to buy the land with our own money. We don't get money to buy land. So that money has to be arranged partly from cash flows from customers, or partly from pre-sales or pre-launches, which don't happen so often now, or from your own resources. So what happens is that the developer is stretched from day one, because the bank doesn't fund you for buying land. It's the RBI doesn't allow it. The third reason is lack of proper execution muscle. This is the basic problem now.
All right. So you are saying that yes, developers are responsible for the delays. Now, what do you do? And my question is, don't you have that question? Then why promise me? Okay, go ahead.
See, there is another breed of additional FAR. They go on delaying it because the FAR goes on changing, and they manipulate with the government. And
Do you feel that's a very strong
in our case it is like that.
Maybe it's not a norm, sir. It's not a norm.
I'm talking my case because it's very prominent. It's 10 years. 2004 it was launched. The FSI has been changed in Delhi for 3 times, and he's still waiting for the FAR of 3. And he's changing all the structure all the time.
There is a very interesting modification in the master plan. So I would like to know your comment, and sir, your comment also on that. In 2007, there came an enhancement in master plan of Delhi that group housing was allowed for 1.67 FAR, and it was increased to 2, and the balance increase was given only for the economically weaker section houses. Later on, in connivance with Ministry of Urban Development, first the clause was modified that we will exclude the EWS portion and builders will get the benefit of this 0.3. Now everybody has applied to MCD or to the approving agency for this extra FAR, and now they are waiting for that 2.3 and 3. Until now, nobody is constructing the EWS houses.
Okay. So he's established, I think he's established the case that yes, FAR also can be a reason for planned delay. And I think, Pankaj, would you like to defend the developers on that front?
No, I can't defend what is indefensible.
All right, I'm glad to hear that.
I think I need to add one thing to this. So I'm not very convinced with the statement that finance is one reason. When you start with advertising your projects, you simply advertised with your advertisement brochures, this is a FDI backed up project, this is this backed up project.
Everybody does it.
When a finance company or the banks, they can finance an unsold unit, why can't they finance your entire project?
They finance the construction. Like I said, the RBI doesn't permit the banks to fund land purchase.
Then sir, why the chocolates of FDI backed projects like
Because,
this are
my
given
dear,
to buyers?
everybody doesn't get FDI. There are very few developers today.
Okay, but I think the larger case is established here, Gitambar, that look, if you cannot take buyers' money, keep it with you, and then not have a visibility on finances to complete the project.
I would like to come in here. I would like to respond to that point that all these delays are cases of planned delay. I would like to stoutly defend that.
No, not all cases are, but that can also be one of the reasons.
I'm not condoning the delays per se, and also the reasons that my colleague Gitambar put forth, that there's mismanagement or there's financial liquidity problems or there's some other, there's a capacity issue. These are all reasons there, but please realize that the developer also suffers. Developers do not gain. You are taking these names and all these hundreds of projects which are delayed. In each project, the developer is also losing money. There are cases in Noida or Greater Noida or Noida Extension where apartments have been sold at 1800 rupees a square foot 3 years ago. The projects got delayed because of the Noida Extension land issue. And yes, that's one reason for delay. Judicial intervention is one reason for delay, which was not mentioned here. Now those developers or many of those developers have sold, and this is true in other areas also, where projects have been sold at rates which were true 8 years ago. Now the cost of construction itself is more than 2000 rupees a square foot. So the developers end up losing money.
But then Pankaj, we've also heard that developers have also in some cases,
In
and
some
I don't want to
cases,
take, just cancelled all those allotments and said either you buy it at the new price or don't buy it.
So
And I can understand that the cost of construction has gone up. Ghulam Zia, you're in Bombay and I'm sure you're feeling a little bit left out. Tell me, according to you, and you've been in the industry for so long, expertise in residential projects, what is the single largest or biggest reason for project delays?
Well, I would say it's mismanagement, and mismanagement of tens of things that we spoke about, which everything can be managed, whether you're talking about purchase of land or you're talking about capacity problems or funding problems, etc., can all be managed. When somebody says that I need money to buy land, obviously you need money because otherwise everybody would start putting up a plant for, say, manufacturing of a car. So unless the industrialist or entrepreneur has that kind of a money, he won't start that business, and that is what is expected of all of them, that you have to start somewhere with certain fund that you will bring in and then go to consumers. And mind you, on the other side, while we're talking about residential, many developers who are doing commercial or retails, etc., don't get any money till the time that the product is ready. Only then people come in and take it on lease, and then you have lease discounting and so on and so forth. So ultimately the only point I'm saying, and because you asked me very, very crisp, it's about mismanagement, period.
Okay, so now the other big question is, why should the buyer be paying for that mismanagement? And that's exactly what this show is about. We're going to come back in just a moment. The conversation is a long one. We need to restore the trust because buyers need their homes. Developers are the ones who are going to give their homes. But it's just a question of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, and where should the penalties be enforced? At what level should the penalties be enforced? Should developers who have delayed more than 5 years be launching new projects? Legally, should they not be barred from launching new projects? That's the question we'll raise when we come back.